Chapter 5 Father's Story. Samuel. As they sat together at the end of their breakfast, Samuel looked around the table at his family. He was worried. If fighting should come, what would happen to them? Samuel knew that today was to be a special day. Not only would those of the recently formed Saratoga meeting be there, but Robert Nisbet would be joining them. The visiting friend was staying at the farm of Zebulon Hoxie, who had built the new meeting house near his hilltop home. Samuel looked over at his younger brother. He could see the pleased expression on Jonathan's face. His brother was always happy when there were new people to meet. There would also be children of Jonathan's own age at meeting. Because they were friends, they would understand the peace that comes when the Spirit of God dwells within. They would not look strangely at Jonathan in the way that some of the children who were not friends did. It had always been that way for them. Wherever friends went, those who did not share their faith might not understand them. However hard he tried, Samuel could not think about meeting. His thoughts kept going back to the brook, to the ripples that spread across the water as he dropped in his stones. Those ripples spread so wide, and war would be the same way. It would spread across the land and everyone would be touched by it. What can I do to protect our family? He wondered. Father, Samuel said, breaking the silence that was so familiar to all of them. It startled him how loud his own voice sounded. He had not meant to speak with such force. Father turned his head and looked at Samuel with serious eyes, which were as blue as those of his son's. He leaned forward on his elbow. It was what Father did when he was truly listening to someone. Yes, Samuel, he asked. What shall we do when the war comes here? We shall do what we always do. We shall treat all with charity and trust in the truth of God, which changeth not. Father's voice was deep and gentle. His words were as plain as his clothing. When Samuel was worried, it usually helped him to hear his father speak. Father was as solid as the foundation of their home or the stone walls they built around the fields. But today those words did not calm the thoughts rippling through Samuel's head. He looked down toward his plate. Mother reached out a hand and brushed the hair from his forehead. Samuel looked out of the corner of his eye at his mother and thought how beautiful she was in her simple dark dress. Then Mother looked directly at Samuel. What is troubling thy heart, Samuel? Samuel felt confused. He looked at her and then at Father, who was still leaning over the table, his chin cupped in his hand. What about the Indians and the Loyalists? Samuel stammered. He paused and looked around the table. Jonathan had one eyebrow raised, but said nothing. They said in Brewster's store that when battle comes, the Indians will sweep through here with blood and fire. Will they not kill us all? Should we not leave here and go someplace where we will be safe? Samuel, Mother said, thou must remember that we have always sought friendship with the Indians. Many of them know us and are friends to us in return. They are children of God also. Is not that so, Father? Father was still for a moment. Then he said, Let me tell thee a story. It is a tale of the great founder of our society, George Fox himself. As thou well knowest, he came here to the colonies and traveled far and wide, seeking those whose hearts were open. Each place he went, he found those who had a sense of the power of God, who received the truth and did abide by it. Samuel clenched his fists under the table. The stories of George Fox were frequently told by his father, who loved to study the history of the Society of Friends and often shared that history with his two sons. Too often, Samuel thought, I have heard this story before. Should we not be on our way to meeting? He knew some of the other friends would already be seated there, and the meeting house was over a mile away. But Jonathan leaned forward and listened intently to Father's words. In 1672, Father continued, George Fox came to Carolina. There was a small band of friends there. With Indians as their guides, they traveled along the Chowan River to reach the governor's house at Edenton. Their journey had not been easy, for the river grew so shallow that their boat would not swim, and they were fain to put off their shoes and stockings and wade some distance through the water. The governor and his wife received them lovingly, but a doctor at the house of the governor who needs dispute their faith. The doctor denied that the light and spirit of God was in everyone. It is not in the Indians, said the doctor. All that is within them is darkness, and they have neither conscience nor faith. George Fox listened to the doctor. Then he looked about the room and called to him one of the Indians who had guided them to the governor's house. When thou dost lie or do wrong, he said to the Indian, be there not something in thee that reproveth thee for it? Then the Indian answered, Yes, said the Indian, there is such a thing in me that reproveth me and maketh me ashamed. So it was that the doctor himself was shamed before the governor and all the people. Samuel looked over at his mother in exasperation. Perhaps she would understand his fears. "It is our way, Samuel," she said with a smile. "We shall walk in peace and trust that others will see the light within themselves." Samuel said nothing. As Mother began to clear the bowls away, he stood and limped to the corner where he had leaned the walking stick. He picked it up and held it in his hands. Its weight comforted him. In the scriptures, he thought, Samson used the jawbone of an ass to slay the army of the Philistines. This stick could serve him like that jawbone. As they walked out of the house, Samuel was last to leave. Leaning on his stick, he pulled the door of their cabin closed so that the latch caught and the wind would not blow it open. There was no lock on the door, no bar to hold it shut when they were within. In the settlement, whenever someone left a house or a shop, he would always secure it. The shopkeeper would pull out a ring of keys and lock that door tightly so that no one could enter unbidden. Samuel remembered walking along the street one afternoon at the end of the day and hearing the heavy sound of a bolt thudding into place. The rattle of keys hung on the great brass ring that swung from storekeeper Brewster's leather belt. "Father," Samuel said now, "why do we have no lock on our door?" "We have no need to keep anyone out," Father said. "If someone weary from travel should come to our door when we are not home, they can come in and take their rest." "And what if that person wishes to steal from us?" Father asked stubbornly. Father smiled. "A locked door will not keep out a man who is determined to steal from thee. He will simply break that door and come in to take what he wishes to take. Then thy door is lost, and so is whatever has been stolen. But an open door may lead a man to open his heart." Father started walking, then turned back. "There is also this to remember, son. A great lock on a door tells a thief of the fear that what is within will be stolen. But a door without a lock tells the man who wishes to enter that nothing will be kept from him. Now come, we do not want to be late to meeting." Samuel sighed and tightened his grip on the walking stick. "I wish that we did have locks," he whispered to himself. Then he turned to join his family.